Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
Have you ever had one of those flaky, itchy scalp situations that just refuses to go away? You probably just brush it off as dandruff, right? Well, it might actually be something more. Today, we're diving deep into seborrheic dermatitis, what it is, what's really going on with your skin, and all the surprising things that can make it flare up.
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? You see those little white flakes on your shoulders, you feel that nagging itch, and your brain immediately jumps to dandruff. But what if that's not the whole story? What if it's a bit more complex? Well, we're about to find out.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is this condition? Let's get a really clear definition so we can understand where simple dandruff stops and seborrheic dermatitis begins.
So right there in the official definition, we get some major clues. First off, it's chronic. That means it's a long-term thing that can come and go. And the key phrases to remember are red or pink patches and scaling. Oh, and it specifically loves to show up in the oily parts of your skin.
And when we say oily areas, it's not just your scalp. We're talking about your face, especially around the nose, in the eyebrows, the middle of your chest, and even in skin folds like your underarms. Basically, any place your body has a lot of oil glands is fair game. Now, this is the most important distinction. You can think of dandruff as being on the super mild end of this spectrum. But the second you see actual inflammation, that redness, that irritated-looking skin hiding under the flakes, you've officially crossed over into seborrheic dermatitis territory. It's all about that inflammation. So is this some rare, unusual thing, or are a lot of people dealing with it? Let's take a look at the numbers, because you might be pretty surprised by just how common this is. Get ready for this. Up to half of the entire world's population gets this in some form after puberty. That is a massive number. We're not talking about a niche problem here. This is something that affects a huge chunk of humanity. And if we dig a little deeper, we see it's not spread out evenly. Men are more than 3 times as likely to have it as women. And the timing's different too. It usually peaks for men in their 30s, while for women, it's more common in their 40s. Now, this is really fascinating. The chances of getting seborrheic dermatitis go way up if you have certain other health conditions. We see it a lot in people with compromised immune systems, like with HIV, or in those with neurological diseases like Parkinson's. This is a huge clue that this skin condition is tied to our body's overall health.
Okay, time to get into the nitty-gritty science. What is actually happening on a microscopic level to cause all this flaking and irritation? It's a really interesting dance between a few different factors.
It really all boils down to this trio. It's like a 3-part recipe. First, you've got a yeast called Malassezia. It lives on pretty much everyone's skin, and it absolutely loves to eat oil. Second, you have the oil itself, sebum. And the third and maybe most important ingredient is your own body's unique immune system and how it decides to react to everything. And if we zoom in, we see it's a whole little ecosystem. While we all have these microbes, in seborrheic dermatitis, a couple of specific yeast species really start to dominate. And what's also really interesting is that certain bacteria also become more common, which tells us the skin's entire microbial neighborhood is kind of out of whack.
All right, here is the absolute key to the whole process. That Malassezia yeast chows down on the oils on your skin. And as it digests those oils, it leaves behind a little waste product. That byproduct is a fatty acid called oleic acid. And, well, that's where the trouble really begins.
For some of us, our skin just does not like oleic acid. It sees it as an irritant. It seeps into the skin and triggers that inflammation we talked about. This makes your skin cells freak out and shed way too fast. That's the flaking you see. It also messes up your skin's protective barrier, which, you guessed it, just creates a vicious cycle of more irritation and more use growth.
So we've got the internal biology down, but what about the outside world? As it turns out, our environment, our habits, and even what we eat can play a massive role in whether or not we get a flare-up.
And this part is so crucial. It's not just what's happening on your skin, it's about your life. Flares are way more common in the winter when the air is cold and dry. Your diet matters, and get this, some of those healthy grooming habits might actually be making things worse. For example, using natural oils like olive oil on your scalp can literally feed the yeast you're trying to fight. Crazy, right? And finally, let's talk about a connection that almost nobody thinks about:
It turns out that certain medications you might be taking for totally unrelated issues can actually cause or worsen seborrheic dermatitis. I mean, just look at this list. It's wild. We're not talking about super obscure drugs here. We've got things like lithium, certain antacids, even some blood pressure meds. A really good example is interferon. It just goes to show you that what we put inside our bodies can have really unexpected consequences for the delicate balance of our skin. So, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Seborrheic dermatitis is not a hygiene problem. It is not about being dirty. It is a complex inflammatory condition that's a mix of your genes, your unique skin microbiome, and a whole bunch of triggers both inside and out. And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. When you have a single condition that's connected to your immune system, your diet, your stress levels, and even your medications, what does that tell you? It shows us that our skin isn't just a covering. It's a mirror, reflecting everything that's going on inside. Makes you wonder, what else is our skin trying to tell us?
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.